Chiefs Kingdom. Welcome back to All Chiefed Up. We're back with another podcast for that ass. And today, mandatory minicamp kicked off, Steve. Somebody was missing. It was Chris Jones. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, and before we get started, 95% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and help your boys out. We're trying to get to 10,000 subs before the season kicks off. Mike, let's talk about Chris Jones.
Let's do it. Adam Schefter tweeted today, Chiefs four-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle Chris Jones, whom Kansas City is open to signing to a contract extension this summer, is not at the team's mandatory minicamp today, Steve. Is there anything to read into this, or is he playing hardball, or is he just, is he just not want to be there?
This is just typical. I think it's a typical thing. Like usually when someone's in contract negotiations, they don't report until it's worked out. That's just how it goes. Whether it's by what they think is best or what their agent thinks is best, either way, they have to do it. That's just how it goes. I can't think of any other time where someone has been in contract negotiations and actually shows up to these things in the offseason. I think we saw this last year with Orlando Brown, and then we also saw it with Chris Jones in the past. So it's nothing new.
Well, here's my thing. I don't think either side has got to a point where they have shown that they're not willing to play ball with each other. And they're not willing to talk about this. The Chiefs keep making it a point that they want to re-sign Jones. Schefter even puts it up. The Chiefs are open to a contract extension. We've said this over and over again. Brett Veach has talked about it. I think Chris Jones, there may be more to this than him just like holding out. I don't believe he's holding out to play hardball here. I don't see why either side should get to that point right now. They've talked about this. They've got a little bit of time. I just feel like Chris Jones, in my opinion, there may be something different going on, or maybe he just don't want to do certain things. They didn't say that he wasn't there. Is he even there? He might have just not been on the field today. I don't think we've got that report out.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about it is it's just taking entirely too long, right? I mean, Chiefs fans are getting antsy. We all know it. They're getting a little worried about it. Chris Jones is going to want a lot of money, and rightfully so. We saw what Deron Payne got with the Commanders. We saw what Dexter Lawrence was able to pull in. This is why they're probably taking a long time, because Chris Jones is going to want to be the top paid defensive tackle in football. So they've got to work it out. And I don't know how much Brett Veach is willing to pay for him. I don't know if there's like a cap on it, or is he like us? Like no matter what, we have to keep Chris Jones in Kansas City. I think there's just a lot of things playing into it. I think everybody should chill out just a little bit. I wouldn't worry too much just yet.
Right. Well, Chris Jones actually come out on Instagram today and put like a little thing out saying he was going for the bag this year. It makes sense. He's 28. This is the last big contract he's probably going to be able to pull in. He just had a career year. It was incredible what he did.
That's how you interpreted it. He didn't exactly say that. He said that he was going all out this year, basically going for it all, and hashtag year 8. And then he put up the sack of him against the Rams, I think, and he's like, making it rain. So yeah, you could definitely play that into he's going for the bag, or you could play it into, hey, we got this thing pretty much a wrap. It's done. I'm coming, and we're going to go all out. We're going to get another ring.
Well, here's my thing. He's got to go for the bag. As I was saying, he's 28. This is the last big contract he's going to get until he starts getting into the twilight years, in which he starts taking smaller deals and one-year deals, kind of like all these other guys have been doing.
He's going to get the bag.
Getting older. He's got to get the bag.
It's just how much more stuffed is the bag. Like,
right.
He's going to get a lot of money. It just depends. Like, where does wanting to be a Chief for life start, and where does ego end with how much money you make? I mean, they have to meet in the middle somewhere. I know he wants to be a high-paid guy. He's the best defensive tackle in football right now, so he deserves it. But at the same time, if he wants to be a Chief for life.
Okay, do you think he trusts Brett Veach to make him a Chief for life? Or do you think Brett Veach is so cutthroat? And some of the fans are cutthroat too. Do you think if they sign him to a 5-year deal, just for example, and he turns 31 and his numbers go down just a little bit and they can get out of that contract, they'll just cut him, ship him out? And a lot of fans are the same way. Oh, it doesn't matter. He don't have it anymore. Get him out of here. It's like loyalty's out. Do you think he trusts Brett Veach to be loyal to him for the full contract?
Let's be honest about it. I don't think there's ever been a franchise loyalty to players. It's usually the other way around. You have guys that are like, man, I want to stay with the Chiefs for life, or I want to be a Green Bay Packer for life, or whatever. But when it really boils down to it, it's a business, just like any other business. You can be loyal to your job, but if you go in there and you're not performing, they're going to cut you. they're going to fire you. That's exactly what happens in football. So I think Chris Jones has as much trust as you can have in a GM and a franchise with the Chiefs and Brett Veach. But at the same time, he has to know there's always possibilities in the future that they might have to cut him loose. So I don't know if that really plays into it or not, man. I think it's just finding that right number that makes both sides of the fence happy. That way they can move forward from here. But it'd be nice to hurry up and get this first thing to drop, because if they could get Chris Jones wrapped up, then we can start looking at the other people that we might be able to acquire before, hopefully, training camp.
Right. Pete Sweeney actually came out today. There's more people that didn't show up. Not just Chris Jones, believe it or not. Turk
Right.
Wharton still coming back from the ACL. He was out. Blake Bell, Jerick McKinnon, Pacheco from his offseason surgeries, and Trey Smith all were not at mandatory minicamp today. I don't know if they'll be fined for this or if it was approved by the team. I don't know how that works. It says Mike Edwards, Trent McDuffie, and L'Jarius Sneed were present, but they were not wearing helmets. I assume that's something to do with some minor injuries or something.
Right.
Anybody on this list, Steve, that surprises you? I think for me, the biggest surprise here would be McKinnon and Trey Smith. Not for sure why they're missing any mandatory minicamp.
Those are the two that stick out like a sore thumb. The rest are coming off of injuries and things like that, so it makes complete sense. Even the fact that some of the other guys were there, but they didn't participate really. They didn't put their helmets on. That means, they had something, nagging them or something, this and that, and they couldn't do it. How come Jerick McKinnon and Trey Smith couldn't even show up and do that much? That's the question. Do you think there's injuries there that we don't know about, or maybe it's just personal problems? I don't know. It could be a million different things. I wouldn't look too far into it. If they're not there by tomorrow, then yeah, maybe I'd start wondering what's going on.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I don't think it's nothing major at this point, nothing we should be concerned about.
Hey,
but I do feel like Jerick McKinnon, yeah.
Did you happen to see where Stephon Diggs didn't show up for the Bills minicamp today, and that Sean McDermott said that he was very concerned about it?
I hope they all implode up there. I really do.
Who didn't see that one coming?
Yeah. Matt McMullen tweeted today a few minicamp notes. He says Patrick Mahomes made a handful of incredible throws today. What else is new? Including a sidearm fadeaway TD pass to MVS. It was awesome. I really do think MVS is going to have a good year this year, Steve. I think MVS is setting up to surprise a lot of people. Sky Moore was busy with several grabs. There's another one of those wide receivers we talk about over and over again. And then the one that stuck out to me, Nick Jones had an athletic INT during team drills. Nick Jones has looked really good to be a 7th-round pick out of Ball State. He looked good in the rookie OTAs. He looked good here. He's looked good for the past few weeks. I really think that Nick Jones may be that nickel corner that they've been looking for all this time, that Spags even talked about the other day. He said he wasn't opposed. He needed McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed to maybe play some nickel until somebody steps up. Nick Jones may be that guy. He may sneak onto this roster.
You mean Brett Veach finding a good cornerback in the 7th round surprises you any? It doesn't me. No. Not at all. So, I think Nick Jones has a very good chance of making this team. He has a very good chance of contributing to this team as a rookie. We've seen it happen with late round cornerbacks picked by Brett Veach and crew several times. So nothing surprising here. MVS, I do think that he's set up for a breakout year, really. Everybody knows who MVS is, but they kind of just know him as a guy that was with Aaron Rodgers that could be a home run threat, right? And then he came to the Chiefs last year. He won a Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes, but didn't quite live up to expectations. We noticed that seemed like there was a little bit of chemistry off between the two. MVS, even when he was playing well, Patrick Mahomes maybe missed him a lot, overthrew him, underthrew him, just didn't look his way. So it wasn't all on MVS. But I think you saw towards the end of the year that more and more they got on the same page. And in the AFC Championship game, we all saw MVS light up the Bengals. And then obviously Sky Moore, I'm thinking he's going to have his breakout year this year. I'm excited to see what he does.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you just said. A lot of people are still talking about trading. We need somebody in there for to bulk up this defensive line. We're hearing it over and over again. I think Bleacher Report come out today, and they've come out and said that they put together some Danielle Hunter trade packages, and they think that the Chiefs, they have one for the Chiefs, Steve. So I'm going to run it by you here, and you let me know what you think. For the Kansas City Chiefs, the Vikings would receive our 2024 round 2 pick, which we've talked about before, and a 2025 round 5. And then the Chiefs would receive Danielle Hunter and a 2024 round 6. Is that a trade that you would take right as it sits? No other players, nothing else, just as it sits.
It's a little rich, but I think if they have plans of extending him and keeping him a Chief, I would do it. That would be my stipulation there. If they were only going to use him for 1 year and let him walk, I don't see the point of giving up a second rounder. But if you're going to get him over here, you're going to restructure a contract, and you're going to go forward with Danielle Hunter being your future at the edge rusher position, I'm all in. Let's do it because he's amazing. And obviously, Bleacher Report thinks that this is the most likely scenario because they put them as number 1 of 6 in their trade scenarios as the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think that a lot of people think that this could be a good landing spot for Danielle Hunter.
I think Danielle Hunter fits in well with this defense. I think he would complement Chris Jones for the remainder of Chris Jones's days here. If you can lock them both up together, I think by restructuring Chris Jones, I think you have money to give to a Danielle Hunter. I would rather give it to the edge rusher over a corner that we've already seen Brett Veach can keep picking them out of, everywhere. This guy grows these corners on trees seemingly. But I do like that trade. I don't think it was that rich at all, to be honest, to give up a second and what was it, a fifth? A second and a fifth, and you get back a 6th rounder. I don't think that's that. I would take that all day. If you could maybe knock your 5th round pick off and give up Clyde, even better. I will take Clyde and keep my 5th round pick. Speaking of Clyde, though, check this out.
Man, what in the world? Good grief, man.
He was
Can they give him a step stool? Could they at least put a step stool down to make him feel better?
Right. I was going to say he was at the podium today, but he's
he was under the podium.
He's under the podium today. He's talking about lots of things. Oh my God. Man.
How tall is Clyde? Like 5'2"?
3 foot
that's
tall.
What it looks like. That's so funny. But yeah, Clyde's been there. And
right.
Here's a tweet from Pete Sweeney. He says running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire said he practiced all week ahead of Super Bowl 57. He practiced several different positions, including working as a receiver, and said he was also wide receiver Devontae Smith on the scout team. So, I mean, now things are starting to kind of unravel. Everyone's wondered why Clyde didn't participate in the Super Bowl parade, that he went to the fashion show and everything else. But from the sounds of it and everything I've read, Clyde thought he was going to play in the Super Bowl. He practiced all week for it, and then when he got there, they didn't send his uniform. And that's how he found out that he wasn't playing. Yeah, that's literally how he found out he wasn't playing. So if there's some hard feelings there, maybe that's why Clyde was like, screw it, I'm not going to the Super Bowl parade either. So now how do you look at it in the big picture?
Who didn't send his uniform? Were they told he wasn't playing, or did somebody just forget the uniform and now he can't play?
I don't know, but they didn't have it. That's exactly what he said. The thing about it is how does this look now? When you look at it through this scope, we know we have a lot of Chiefs Kingdom that are down on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They all hate him for next to no reason other than the fact that Veach reached on him and took him in the 1st round. So it's like, are they still mad at this guy for maybe being a little bitter and not going to the Super Bowl parade? Or do they see it from his side of it and then they're like, man, that's kind of crappy. So maybe he had a reason not to.
He addressed that. He addressed the fashion show debacle. He says, if I give somebody my word, it's just one of those things. If I tell somebody that I'm going to do it, that's just what it is. And that was Clyde on his commitment months beforehand on why he missed the team's Super Bowl parade. That's what he said today at the mic. Steve, is that noble of Clyde? Or should he have just said, look, fashion show, big deal. This is my career. These are the fans that supported me. I need to be here.
Look, that's a good quality to have, but sometimes things override things. I mean, what if you were going to go, you gave somebody your word, a prior commitment, and 3 months outside, and then something terrible happened and you had to stay home? Are you still going to just go and maybe leave your family or your friend or whoever needs you, abandon them just because, hey, I told them 3 months ago I'd go take care of this? No, I don't know, man. I think there's more to it. I think that's just him saying what he has to say for optics, right? But I don't know. I think it might be more along the facts of he thought he was going to play in the Super Bowl. He didn't even get to dress, and he was a little bitter. And I would understand that completely.
That's an amazing story. He may be single-handedly the reason that the Chiefs training staff got rated an F with the anonymous graders. It was all Clyde. He was just like, F. Like, he's F'ing everything over here.
I forgot my freaking uniform at the Super Bowl, and I didn't get to play. They suck.
Another player I'm curious to see in mandatory minicamp here is Noah Gray. A lot of people are talking about the receivers. We've been talking about Noah Gray, that tight end room. Everybody's like, is Fortson going to get cut? Are they going to bring in Bushman? Who are we looking at? Can Blake Bell be a surprise cut? We've been consistent that we think Noah Gray is the successor to Travis Kelce here, and we think that they believe in him a lot. Here's some stuff that people are saying. Check this out. Patrick Mahomes on Noah Gray. Noah has been really good. I think he has a veteran type skill set where he knows how to get himself open. So he's actually saying that, hey, Noah can get open. Like, this guy is good. Blake Bell on Noah Gray. Noah, the way he can move and run routes, it's very impressive. Seeing a guy like that come in and do what he's doing right now, it is awesome. And then you can't look no further than the GOAT of tight ends. Kelsey, I can't wait until the world sees what this guy can do, man. He's doing an unbelievable job of learning this offense. Everybody seems to be big on Noah Gray, except for Chiefs Kingdom, Steve. People in Chiefs Kingdom do not like Noah Gray. They feel like he's been here for 300 years, even though he's going into year 3. Is this another Clyde unfair kind of characterization of Noah Gray?
I think it's on a different level. Like, everybody hates Clyde. I think everybody just writes off Noah Gray. They're always like, we need to get Jody Fortson back in there. He's going to have a breakout year. And it's like, we needed to draft a tight end. Why did we pass up drafting tight ends? Are we going to draft one next year? And what do we keep saying over and over again, Mike? Hey, Noah Gray, Noah Gray, Noah Gray. If you watch the tape, this guy is very similar to Travis Kelce, and that is why the Chiefs drafted him. His skill set is kind of unique, like Kelce's. And he just has a knack for getting open, which Patrick Mahomes addressed, and that's Kelce's best quality. Just the fact that he's always open. That's why he produces the way he does, because he just knows how to get open. Noah Gray has that. Noah Gray has the physical capabilities, as Blake Bell mentioned. And then, of course, if you get the stamp of approval from the GOAT himself, I think we're good to go, man. I'm excited to see what Noah Gray can bring to the table, and I think he's going to get more looks this year. And then going forward, you're going to see more and more and more until Kelce retires.
Being behind Travis Kelce now for the 3rd year, that speaks volumes, and it's so much that you cannot, you can't write it off. There's just something about that, being in that film room, learning from him, learning his subtleties, how to get open, how to set up routes, how to shake defenders, everything. I think Noah's learning from it. We seen last year that he looked so much quicker on the field. He looked faster. He looked just there. And I think all that's attributing to what Blake Bell said and Kelce said, that he's learning that playbook and he's finally feeling more comfortable in this offense. Very complex offense. We've talked about it over and over again. Some of these guys that's been here, you know, even on the defensive side, Spags runs a complex offense. Justin Reed's talking about he just now learned the offense in week 17 or
there's
defense,
people,
rather.
There's people that really think that that's why McCole Hardman didn't work out, that he still didn't really grasp the offense when he left Kansas City. And he was here for, 4 years? I mean,
it's possible.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hey, speaking of tight ends, though, we got to see some redemption from Kelce last night, Steve. We seen him throw a ball right into the ground in Cleveland when he threw out the first pitch, but the Royals give him a pretty funny thing. They put the arrows on both sides pointing at the home plate, and he actually threw a strike. So given a second chance. Dirty. Yeah, Chiefs Travis Kelce throws a strike at the Royals game. Are you glad to see the GOAT come out and prove to the haters that he can throw a baseball?
He was about an inch away from disaster again. If you watch the clip, he's wearing just regular shoes on the mound and he slipped. So he could have fell down. He could have threw another duck. I mean, there's so many things that could have gone wrong, but luckily he threw a nice little strike there. Yeah, like you said, the mascot and everybody was ribbing him a little bit. They did him dirty. They brought out the arrows, showing him to throw it towards home. So yeah, everybody had their fun with it. But I think it's cool, man. I'm glad that they did that. And then, of course, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid were there as well. And it was a good thing for the community. It's a good thing for the Royals fans and everything, too, because God knows the team is god-awful this year, and they're having a rough time.
They couldn't win
at least they could at least they could bring a little joy. Even with the Salvi home run in like the top or bottom of the ninth, they're at home. To tie the game, they still couldn't pull that one off. Yep. So
they couldn't do it.
I mean, at least they had some little bright spot for the Royals fans. Like, hey, here's some guys that won a championship.
Did you see the guy in the front row on Chiefs night that showed up to the Reds, Royals, and wearing the Bengals jersey? There's always the Bengals loser. Are the most cringe loser franchise in the world. I cannot stand them. And this brings up to another point. Joe Burrow was asked a question, and he said, I don't think there's any argument right now. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. Until someone has a better year than he's had, he's the one to knock off. He has now drew so much praise from Chiefs talking heads about how much they love Burrow and they respect him. He's just telling you a fact. Like, just
Hey,
admitting a fact now gets everybody to just slob it.
you know, that's all you have to do is like say something nice about the Chiefs, and then everyone that claims, like a lot of Chiefs fans are like, oh, well, I like them. It's like they're just saying what they have to say. Joe Burrow's not an idiot. Let's get this straight. He's a good quarterback. He's a smart kid. He knows Patrick Mahomes is the best in the league. It's not rocket science. The only people that say that are haters and people that literally have no idea how football works. Or the only people that don't say Patrick Mahomes is the best.
1-3, 1-3. What are you talking? Shut up, bro.
So yeah, I mean, I don't look that much further into it other than obviously, Joe Burrow's not a complete idiot.
Look, I don't dislike Joe Burrow on a personal level. More than likely, I don't really know him on a personal level. As a quarterback, I respect him. Just because he says Mahomes is the best in the game, I'm not going to just all out go buy his jersey and worship him on Twitter.
That doesn't make me love him.
No, that just makes me be like, oh, well, he's not an idiot like everybody else. I'm sure Josh Allen would have said something stupid in that situation. Let's be honest.
Yeah, Josh Allen would have said, I love penis.
What is that? I kept seeing that go around. What is that about?
He tweeted it out. That was just a tweet he had out. There was also some racist ones and everything else that they pulled up from back in the day.
What?
Some crazy tweets. So they've been giving him a hard time about that. He wrote it off as I was just a kid. I was just being stupid, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I saw that. I saw a couple memes with I love penis one.
I don't want to talk about penis anymore. Let's move on. This is the last thing we got to talk about today. And this might be the biggest breaking news story we've ever seen. Netflix has announced their original sports series documentary, Quarterback. It says on July 12th. Everybody kept saying tomorrow. July 12th is today. Am I wrong?
No, July 12th was yesterday.
Yeah,
June.
Yesterday.
That's a month. We're in June. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I am an idiot. There we go then. There we go.
Yeah.
So something's dropping tomorrow. Yesterday. A trailer. Something's dropping.
Yep.
Are you going to watch this, Steve? Does this interest you in the slightest?
I'm sure I'll see the trailer. I'm not going to wait for it tomorrow when it gets released or whatever. But now when the show comes out, yeah, for sure watch it. I think it'll be good. They're supposed to follow Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, and Marcus Mariota. So it's like they got one of every tier quarterback in the league, and they're going to follow them a little bit and see how that goes. And it'll be interesting to watch.
So a lot of people can't watch this, Steve. Netflix is cracking down on them. They're cracking down on the password sharing.
Quit sharing passwords. Just quit sharing passwords.
Hey, let me tell you something. This is America, and sharing passwords is at the root core value here. And I don't think I'm going to get rid of Netflix I'm going to stand with the people.
Anyway,
and I'm not getting it.
And like I said, like I was trying to say for the third time, I think I would even watch the series if Mahomes wasn't on it. It just seems like an interesting thing. They're going to look more into the life of an NFL player and what they deal with on a day-to-day basis, and I think that's interesting for anybody.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch Marcus Mariota show up every day and throw a pick in practice. I'm sure that's going to be riveting TV, everyone. Well, that wraps it up for today, Steve.
Yeah, make sure you guys get in the comments. Let us know your opinion on all this stuff down there, and we'll talk about it. Also, thanks for subscribing and hitting that bell. See you next time. There goes a sight from my soul.